evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us on June 25th, 2024 for the regular scheduled village board meeting. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Lana, roll call, please.
Mayor DeBold.
Here.
Trustees Amos.
Here.
Brockman.
Here.
Carroll.
Here.
Chapman.
Here.
Luciano.
Here.
And Selfridge.
All right. Everybody's here. We do have enough for a quorum this evening. With that, we'll move into our citizens segment. Are there any citizens wishing to address the village board this evening? Seeing none, we'll move into this evening's consent agenda. Item number 1 will be approval of the special committee of the whole meeting minutes from June 4th, 2024. Approval of the regular meeting minutes for June 11th, 2024. Approval of accounts payable in the amount of $334,121.10. Approval of a payment in the amount of $23,715.48 to Brightly Software for work order software. Payment in the amount of $20,934.64 to Motorola Solutions for the police body cameras. Payment in the amount of $12,727.50 to Cornwell Engineering for our Shorewood water source transfer plan. Item number 7 will be approval of a payment in the amount of $22,475.09 to White & Company for Rivers Edge Park Phase B. Item 8 will be approval of the payment amount of $96,735 to Waterwell Solutions for the 2024 water treatment plant media exchange project. A few more to go. Approval of payment amount of $134,914.78 to JX Truck Center for the 2025 Peterbilt. That is for Public Works. And then we have a payment amount of $25,804.46 to GLI Services for K-Crest Park reconstruction. Number 11 will be approval of the payment amount of $35,000 to Flock Group for our 4 Flock safety cameras. And item number 12 will be approval of the payment amount of $15,000 to Edward Bates and Associates for the Shorewood Water Project Valuation Services. Are there any items a trustee has questions on or needs any further information?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion Luciano, second Carroll. Roll call, please.
Brockman.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Luciano.
Yes.
And Amos.
Yes.
All right, consent agenda's been approved. We will move into reports and communications. Lana, was there anything that you had received for this evening's meeting?
No, sir.
Thank you. I do not have anything at this time. Well, let's move into the exciting part, order of business for this evening. Item number 1 will be consideration for approval of an ordinance to establish the Grand Prairie Water Commission, approve an intergovernmental agreement and a water supply agreement, appoint representatives to the commission, and authorize approval of bylaws and a program management agreement and all other related matters regarding the establishment of the Grand Prairie Water Commission. This item is up for its second read. Obviously, this is the project we have discussed for many years, and at this point, we're bringing forward the final read of this document to create the Water Commission. We do know 3 of our partners have already passed these resolutions, and to start the commission, we are one of 3 still yet to go. There's another community tonight with the last group tomorrow. With that, we do have a quick presentation to kind of recap on this for everybody, and I believe the administrator is going to go ahead and brief everybody on this.
So good evening. This is the PowerPoint that the board has seen, and we did not do it last time, but it was requested that we do it tonight for the public before the vote. So we'll go through this rather quickly. If there's any questions, just shout them out and stop me as we go forward. So again, this was a regional problem that deals with the deep sandstone aquifers. They're depleting, they're not replenishing. We need to come up with another long-term water solution. Also in our area, there are a lot of shallow wells that are, as people have seen in the news, infected or affected by the PFAS chemicals, and now the federal government has regulations for that, and these graphics depict both of those problems. This is the picture that you're familiar with. The blue is the area already serviced by water, and as you are aware, to our east, Frankfurt and communities out there coming up with a solution. To our northwest, you have people that are hooking onto the DuPage water system, particularly Montgomery, Oswego, and Yorkville. And then in the middle, you see Romeoville, Crest Hill, Joliet, Shorewood, Minooka, and Shanahan. Those are the partners for our commission. There are benefits for a regional water commission, lower rates, the risk for the distribution, the cost, and the problems that arise are distributed amongst our partners. We don't bear that risk alone. We have support from state and federal agencies, and we obtain additional access to construction rights of way. If we were to do this alone, it would be extraordinarily difficult, but as a group, and with the support of our state and federal partners, we're able to construct this solution much more easily. There was a Regional Water Commissions Act that was passed at the state level in 2022, and that graphic doesn't depict the actual votes, but it was passed and signed by the governor. Again, the 6 communities are Joliet, Romeoville, Crest Hill, Shorewood, Minooka, and Shanahan. We approved a preliminary agreement in February of 2022, which was the basis for our partnership thus far. Again, there's the graphic of the commission and the members. There's a timeline here. You see in 2021, we approved a Regional Water Commission Act that was done at the state level. We reached consensus on the key principles. In 2022, member communities approved that preliminary that I just talked about. That was the basis for our operations so far. At the time, there were 4 communities that needed to yet get allocations. Joliet and Shorewood had already had theirs, but the other 4 members of our commission have now received their allocations. Member communities began discussing the formative documents, well over a year ago, and that's what's before you tonight for final consideration. You see that in the yellow. The commission will be formed with the passage of our vote tonight, and the other 2 members yet to be done. The official first meeting of the Board of Commissioners, which will be described here in a minute, will actually be next week on July 2nd. So tonight, the 4 documents that we've talked about that'll be the historical basis for this commission are going to be the intergovernmental agreement to establish the Water Commission, the Grand Prairie Water Commission Water Supply Agreement with Chicago, the bylaws of the Grand Prairie Water Commission, and an intergovernmental agreement for program management between the commission and Joliet. So the IGAs, you're familiar with what that document is. It's an agreement between the parties, and it's formed under the outline of the stuff in the Regional Water Commissions Act. You see these that have been done elsewhere with the DuPage Water Group and other groups in the past. The membership will have 6 charter members. Additional members must be approved by all boards and councils and by the commissioners of the Board of Commission. The Board of Commissioners is a body composed of 1 elected member of each of the commission, or each of the members of the commission, so presumably the 6 municipalities voting last week and this week. There'll be a commissioner and an alternate, and then there'll also be a commissioner has 1 equal vote. Nobody has weighted votes. Commissioner terms are 2 years, and there are boards, that is the Board of Officers. There's a technical advisory group. It'll be the advisory group that sends recommendations to the commission, Board of Commissioners, I should say. Consists of a delegate and an alternate from each community. And again, each community on that technical advisory group has 1 vote. The IGA provides for the powers and authority of the commission, provides for the withdrawal of a member, or the termination of a member, or the dissolution of the commission if that were ever to come to pass. And then the water supply. Before I go on, is there any questions about the intergovernmental agreement? Okay. The water supply agreement is the agreement among the members and between the commission and the city of Chicago to supply Lake Michigan water to the members. It's effective for 100 years. It goes out to December 31st to 21-23. It is renewable. It provides for the sale and purchase of water. You'll see in many of the documents, there's a thing called the declared maximum day demand, and then a 2050 estimated build out. There's a sole water source. This is supposed to be the sole water source for the member, meaning we can't buy from another person, nor can we run wells for regular water. Every community will obviously have to have a backup, and in our case, we're gonna maintain our 2 deep wells as our backup alternate water source should there ever be a service interruption from Chicago. Provides for a uniform rate of flow and to limit its members' maximum day demand and peaking factors. You see some of those numbers declared here, the 6 communities in the column under member. There's a column that shows the declared 2050 maximum day demand. In our case, it's 4.8 million gallons per day. The ratio of that in terms of the whole commission will be approximately almost 9%. Oh, sorry, escape. I don't know if I can go back, let me see. No. I really messed it up, guys. Hang on 1 second, please. Open in PowerPoint. Bear with me 1 second, sorry. Using a mouse pad here. Nothing's ever perfect, right? Slideshow from the beginning. Let me click through. My apologies. The last column is the estimated build out declared maximum day in the end. You'll see that we go from 4.8 to an estimated 10.4 million gallons per day at the maximum build out of the system. Key provisions, it provides for the sale and purchase of water, the reassignment of the declared maximum day demand in certain circumstances, meaning if we need more water, we're able, there's provisions there for us to get it from other members. The expansion of capacity in the system, how the system will perform optimally with the increase of other pumps that don't necessarily increase the size of the pipe, but increase the pressures and the flow within the pipe. Limits on supply, curtailment, notification of maintenance and emergency, provisions for the alternate water source, corrosion and control studies, storage. Noted here is that by 2040, everybody has to do 2 times their allocation in storage. We've had some talks about that, about how we're gonna accomplish that with our current towers, our underground storage that'll be built in future towers. Quality of water and the resale of water by members. There's provisions for the measurement of water, how people are gonna have the water measured by the commission and consequently the billing of it. Payments, the purchased water cost, the operation and maintenance cost, reserve costs, commission administration costs, capital debt service, and cost of financing are all included in this document. Shorewood cost obligations. So what you see here is it's approximately $1.446 billion in totality. There's 2 different halves as we move to the right. There's the regional costs shared by the commissioners. And then the bottom, which we're not involved in the dark gray box, is non-primary uses. So if we had a secondary water receiving station at this time, we would be included in that. But as you'll see, Shorewood in the blue box here that I have my cursor running over, our initial capital costs are gonna be $121.5 million. And in totality, the primary costs are $1.2 billion. And then at the bottom, we don't have a secondary structure, but the cost of secondary structures to the other members is $48 million. The Board of Commissioners approves the budget, the program schedule. There are commission covenants and all kinds of other rules that are in there. Member covenants, each member, for instance, must complete improvements within its own system to accept a new water source. We've talked about how we're gonna put our receiving station on Mound Road adjacent to our public works facilities. Every community has to maintain their Lake Michigan water allocation through IDNR. And there's cooperation and construction of commission system, the construction of rights of ways and easements for member daily delivery sites. So before I get into the bylaws, or any questions on the water service agreement? Yes, sir.
At 10.4 million, how many people will that serve?
Approximately 65,000 residents.
And we're at 18 or 19 now, so it'll be for 65.
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. The bylaws govern the function and the operation of the Grand Prairie Water Commission. They establish the organizational structure and the rules of procedure for the Grand Prairie Water Commission. And they're to be approved by the Board of Commissioners at the first meeting, which will be next week on July 2nd. Key provisions of the bylaws or the corporate authority is the Board of Commissioners. There's the composition again with the commissioner and the alternate, 2-year terms, and everybody has an equal vote. There's a chair, vice chair, secretary, and treasurer. There's a rotation schedule between the municipalities. The formative documents provide for the first term to last until June 30th of 2027, and then they'll rotate every 2 years thereafter. Was contemplated to make sure that with the election cycle coming up and everything else, that's why there's an anomaly with the initial schedule there. Then it establishes the duties of the officers. There's an administrative staff. It's envisioned to have an executive director, a regional operator in charge with licensing, and there'll be other staff members, and this provides for some of those duties. Meetings are subject to the Open Meetings Act with quorum and voting requirements, unanimous approval for some actions, and so forth, they're established in that document. There's the Technical Advisory Committee. Again, every community has a delegate and an alternate. 2-year terms, again, June 30th to 27. They're going to elect among themselves a chair and a vice chair, and there are duties of the duties are basically to make recommendations on a technical perspective to the Board of Commissioners for their execution of votes. The bylaws provide for financial matters, the annual budget, and then there's the conduct of the commissioners, the officer, and the staff. Before I move on to the program management agreement, any questions about the bylaws? Hearing none, the program management agreement is between the commission and the city of Joliet, because Joliet will manage the implementation of the alternative water source program. It's going to provide a program management service and a commission management service, and it'll be approved by the Board of Commissioners at the first meeting. So the key provisions are the term. They're going to commence with the effective date and terminate once all the program-related contracts have been executed. There's a schedule and budget provision to this. Joliet will manage a program in a manner consistent with the program schedule and program budget. Program management and services a lot of the construction, plus there'll be some financial members, government outreach, public outreach, and education. And then there's commission management services that'll include administrative support, financial matters, human resources, to start establishing the staff at the behest of the Board of Commissioners. Joliet has the following responsibilities. They'll have a program director, a program finance director. They'll be responsible for some operations during the construction phase and maintenance. They're going to advise the program development and construction. They're going to have authority for construction contract modifications. Those have been spelled out in detail on the agreement. And there's regular and will be consistent reporting to the Board of Commissioners and the Technical Advisory Group. There are provisions for key consultants and personnel. We are already very familiar with StanTAC and the CMT program group. And there will be provisions for independent review, financial advisors, and some legal consultation throughout the program management until the construction is complete. Again, there's a management fee. Those fees have all been negotiated and discussed, and they're in that packet. They provide for the totality of that service through the end of the project. And then there's the basis of design, which is driving the schedule. It's driving the budget. Basis of design will consistently be reviewed as, construction problems arise and things like that. There will be an annual budget. They'll be reviewed every year. So there's a unanimous vote required on all of the by all commissioners is required for modifications to the basis of design. It has to be unanimous among the members. And then that is Exhibit A to the program management agreement. That's that lengthy 100, how long is it, Noria? 150 pages or something like that? Yeah. So again, there's a map that goes all the way from the lake, 66 miles of 60-inch pipe all the way down through our communities. There'll be 2 intermediate pumping stations along the way, one presumed to be in Lamont, one here in Shorewood. And then from all of those positions, every community will receive its allocation of Lake Michigan water. You see the second intermediate storage down here in Joliet, just out to our west in our unincorporated area right now. Again, initially it'll be provided for 55.27 million gallons of water per day, and at build out it'll be over 103 million gallons of water per day. And the whole point was to bring a sustainable, clean, safe source of drinking water to our communities. A lot of work has gone into this, as you know. We've had much discussion over the last several months. If there are any questions, I'll take them now, and staff will be here to answer them. Otherwise, I'd return it to the mayor for your consideration.
Norrell, anything you'd like to add to this project?
It's a lot of hard work that was put in by all of us, and again, very grateful for the support that you provided to myself and staff. We're looking forward to this big project, to be able to bring in this alternate source water to Shorewood.
Council, anything you wanna add? I know you had a lot of work to do on this too.
No, I mean, I think we've come up with good agreements that are fair for the group and seem to balance everything out. We've come a long way over the last couple of years with everybody's help from the council and staff, so thank you.
Anybody from the board have any questions, comments, concerns, motion?
I'll make the motion if you would allow me, Mayor.
By all means.
It'd be my honor to, put a motion before the board for an ordinance to establish the Grand Prairie Water Commission. Approve an intergovernmental agreement and a water supply agreement. Appoint representatives to the commission and authorize approval of bylaws and a program management agreement and any other related matters.
Second that.
We have a motion by trustee Chapman, we have a second by trustee Brockman. Roll call, please.
Carol,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Luciano,
Yes.
Amos.
Yes.
And Brockman.
Yes.
All right, item number one's been approved. That allows us to join the commission. Moving into business item number two. And, real quick, I wanna make comment to that. The ability for the village of Shorewood to establish and become part of the commission has been a long time coming, so I'm truly honored and humbled to be part of this sitting board to help establish that and move this project forward, so. Thank you to all of our board members and our staff that put forth time, meetings, effort, comments, concerns to help bring this project to where we are. So with that, I wanna move on to business item number two will be consideration for approval of a resolution authorizing the execution of intergovernmental agreement with the city of Joliet with respect to the purchase of the real property consisting of approximately 10 acres near the southeast corner of Black Road and County Line Road. As you guys are familiar with, would be a replacement secondary receiving station in our future. We've discussed this a couple different times, and by making this purchase and locating our secondary receiving station here saves us upwards of $1 million in pipe for what it would take to do on the other side of that. Administrator or council, anything else you want to add to that?
Just for clarity, this is an intergovernmental agreement between us and the city of Joliet simply for our 10 of the 50 acres that'll be there. There was a little bit of confusion about that. So this has nothing to do with the 20 acres that the commission will buy from Joliet. Joliet is facilitating the purchase, but with this agreement, this is relative to our 10 acres on the south end of that. It'll essentially save us money in the long run so that when we do a secondary station 10, 20 years from now, we're adjacent to the intermediate site and we don't have to run a pipe down any road. We can just simply go right next door, hook up, and we have our secondary receiving station. So the other, as you're well aware, we had previously over the years envisioned it in several locations. Some of that land will definitely be sold off once this is all solidified. So we won't be just hoarding land. But if there are any questions about the actual agreement, be happy to answer them, or Dave's here too to answer them, but that's in essence what this is all about.
If there's no questions, we'll take a motion for the purchase.
So actually a motion to authorize the intergovernmental agreement.
Motion to authorize the intergovernmental agreement for the purchase.
I'll make a motion.
A second.
Motioned by trustee Luciano, seconded by trustee Carroll. Roll call, please.
Chapman,
Yes.
Luciano.
Yes.
Amos.
Yes.
Brockman.
Yes.
And Carol.
Yes.
All right, business item number 2 has been approved. Business item number 3 will be consideration for approval of a proposal for professional services with Tria Architecture for Phase 2 design and Phase 3 construction services for the 2025 Fawn Park reconstruction project in the amount of $22,500. Public Works Director, Noriega.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is our next park that is for replacement in our park replacement program. Park is located in the Kipling Town subdivision. It was originally built in the year 2000. Currently has only one place structure that's geared to 5 to 12-year-olds and a small swing set. So the new scope will include a new playground, new equipment, new surface, furniture, and landscaping itself. We're gonna be following the same schedule as we've been doing for the previous parks. So we'll be hopefully designing this summer. We'll have resident participation with an online survey so they can comment and provide feedback for the playground equipment that we're gonna be selecting sometime in the fall. Then we'll go into completion of the final design by the end of the year. And also at the same time, I'll be recommending to purchase the playground ahead of the construction to take advantage of our government pricing with some of our vendors. And then, of course, this will be bid next year in 2025 for construction during the summer, fall timeframe next year. Staff is recommending approval of the proposal for the professional services for Phase 2 design and Phase 3 construction services with Tria Architects for our 2025 Fawn Park reconstruction project totaling $22,500. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions on Noriega on rebuilding a park?
Motion to approve as read. Second.
Motion trustee Amos, seconded trustee Carroll. Roll call, please.
Luciano.
Yes.
Amos.
Yes.
Brockman.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
And Chapman.
Yes.
All right,
Thank you.
that concludes our order of business for this evening. With that, we'll move into trustee comments. Trustee Amos.
Thank you, Mayor. No comments tonight?
No problem. Trustee Brockman.
Thank you, Mayor. Our next meeting will be scheduled here for July 10th. And since that's the day after our next board meeting, I'll have an update then for you. And I'd just like to thank Noriel and Jock and Dave, present mayor and the former mayor, for this project tonight. This unbelievable amount of work has been done, and we sure thank you. And I think we're gonna be well rewarded when we can turn that faucet on. And so thank you again to everybody. And third, I was able to see a few minutes of this board meeting on Channel 6, and you can't understand a single word.
Really?
I went on the computer and the sound is perfect. So what is going on with Channel 6, I have no idea.
We can follow up with our Comcast reps.
But anybody else has Channel 6, I'd like them to verify that, because you cannot understand a single word anybody says.
Okay, we'll make sure that we follow up with IT on that
Okay,
too.
all right, and thank you, that's
It
my,
might be a difference between, we get reports from people watching it right now that can hear, but it might be something to do with the rebroadcast, because assuming you watched a rebroadcast, right? So we'll look into that.
yeah, since I was here,
Yeah. You
yes.
didn't watch it live.
But I mean, but I was telling trustee Amos, and so I went in to the computer, and it was absolutely perfect.
Okay.
It was absolutely perfect, the
We'll-
sound,
We'll look into it.
could hear everybody,
Bill's back there listening right now, and
Okay.
wheels are spinning.
but I don't think it's my television set, but, anyway, that's my report, thank you.
No problem. Trustee Carroll.
No comment.
And the sound quality, we just checked, the sound quality is great.
Okay, so it's something in the rebroadcast, we'll clarify that. Trustee Chap.
No, too many switches out here. Okay, hey, Bill, in case you're listening, we're gonna go over that thing again, all right?
Trustee Luciano.
Okay.
Citizen Advisory Committee is on summer break. We'll meet back again in September. Anyone getting interested in getting involved with the committee can contact myself or the other members through the information on the village website. That's all.
Thank you. With that, I'll take a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel Consider the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees and land acquisition and sale, lease, or real estate owned by the village.
Motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Motion trustee Amos, seconded by trustee Carroll. Roll call, please.
Amos,
Yes.
Brockman.
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
And Luciano.
Yes.
And for the record, there will be no action taken after executive session. We will adjourn from there. Thank you.